Sam Northeast struck his best ever T20 score as Kent Spitfires immediately got back to winning ways as they defeated Surrey by 23 runs as the NatWest T20 Blast came to Beckenham. Northeast first won the toss and decided to bat with Daniel Bell-Drummond warming up a good crowd with a 4 off the very first ball of the match. But he was on his way to the 8th, unluckily glancing Matt Dunn to Gary Wilson to go for 5. Northeast wasted no time at all in getting on with his innings as he tucked into Azhar Mahmood. This 6 just a small part of an over which went for 24 runs in total. Joe Denley kept things going at the other end. Dunn now smashed out of the ground, the Spitfires bringing up a rapid 50 in just the 4th over. Denley raced to 20 off 11 balls but fell in over number 5. James Burke with a catch at deep square off Tom Curran, which left the Spitfires on 51 for 2. There were not going to be any repeats of the collapse of the previous night at Lord's, even though Sam Billings was also dismissed within the power play overs. Moises Henriquez coming on to have him held by Kumar Sangakkara of something of a slog. 3 down, but the Spitfires had 60 runs on the board from the first 6 overs, and there was no breaking now, with Fabian Cowdrey welcoming Gareth Batty into the attack by belting him over mid-wicket for a 6. The Surrey skipper went for 10 in his first over, while his second cost 19 runs, with Northeast quickly changing gears. These 2 sixes came off successive overs as the batsman raced to a half-century off just 22 balls, an innings with 3 sixes and 4 fours included. How to celebrate? Try taking on Zafar Ansari next ball, depositing the spinner down the ground for yet another maximum. This was brilliant batting. Then later in the same over, one which cost Surrey 20 runs, maximum number 5 for the Kent captain. His side very handily placed on 118 for 3 at the halfway point of their innings. A huge total was on the cards if these two could keep going. Cowdrey kept up with his side of the bargain with 2 fours off a Curran over, although 15 deliveries then followed without a ball heading to the fence. Cowdrey had enough of that and cleared the rope off Burke for this 8th of the night. It was very entertaining stuff being lapped up by those present. The partnership between these two had got to 98 off 53 balls when Cowdrey on 42 was foxed by a Henriquez slower ball which was carved into the hands of Ansari. Things were set up very nicely for Darren Stevens, but having made just a single, he uppercut Dunn to Curran at third man. Things weren't quite going as smoothly now, although with Northeast continuing to tuck into Azhar Mahmood, a final total of around 200 was on, and perhaps a maiden century for the batsman. He'd moved on to 86 when Azhar finally had something to smile about as he bowled Alex Blake with a crafty slower ball for 2 at 171 for 6 with 3 overs to go. Matt Coles came and went for duck, giving the bowler Curran his second wicket with the first ball that the all-rounder faced, Curran steadying himself to complete the dismissal. This is 6 number 7 for Northeast, who had 2 overs left to get just 6 more runs for an incredible 100. He got 2 more off a boundaryless penultimate over, and then to the first delivery of the last one, he threw himself at this ball and holed out to Jason Roy to end a devastating display which had brought him 96 runs off just 47 balls. Mitch Claydon edged the last ball to the boundary. The Spitfires no doubt pretty happy with a 20 over total of 193 for 8. It could have been more, but Surrey were going to need a major Northeast-like innings from someone. That was not going to be Roy, who was trapped in front by Coles to the 4th ball of the reply after hitting deliveries 2 and 3 to the boundary. Nor was it going to be Stephen Davis, who was run out before he'd faced a ball. The fielder none other than Northeast, who could do nothing wrong. Surrey 2 down in the very first over with 8 runs on the board. Claydon bowled an excellent first over from the other end, but was sent over the rope twice in his next one by both Henriquez and Sangakkara. 2 wickets may have fallen very early indeed, but Ken could take nothing for granted with players of such calibre at the crease. Surrey's 50 was up in the 5th over, the run rate very similar to Kent's at this stage of proceedings, and they too were also 3 down inside the power play, crucially Sangakkara hitting Stevens' 3rd ball to Callum Haggett, the bowler not even looking to see if the catch was taken. So the total read 59 for 3 after 6 overs. Henriquez now the man who needed to keep going for the visiting team. This was a 14th maximum of a thrilling evening's cricket at this outground. Another one followed, the target down to 107 for the last 10 overs. Then down to 80 off the last 6, Cowdrey delivering a brilliant over at a vital time, which also saw Wilson stumped by Billings for 23. 2 balls later, and Ansari edged behind to the juggling Billings, and that was surely that. Surrey left to find 79 runs off the last 6 overs, with half of their team back in the hutch. Azhar Mahmood may have gone for 49 runs in his 4 overs with the ball, but he began to make up for that with the bat. Cowdrey had been excellent in his first 3 overs, but his last one saw Azhar hit him for 6s twice, the over costing 16 runs, and suddenly we had a game on again. 51 now required from 4 overs. Henriquez was still there, having passed a 50 off 37 balls, but he now had to go on without Azhar, who, after striking 18 off 6, hit his 7th to Blake at long off. Haggett with the big wicket. Henriquez tried to keep his side in touch, but having made 63, he sliced Coles to Cowdrey, and that left the visitors 29 runs to get off the last 6 balls. As with the previous night at Lord's, Claydon was brilliant with the ball, and after 5 singles came off 5 balls, he removed Burke to end with 1 for 29 from his 4 overs and take Kent to victory. Surrey ended on 170 for 8, and that gave the Spitfires a comfortable win by 23 runs to make it 3 victories from 4 to have them sitting on top of the South Group. Next up for them is a trip to Taunton to take on Chris Gale on his home debut for Somerset. That's on Sunday afternoon, and it promises to be a cracker.